This episode is a cracker. Jimmy and I get into some stories from our younger days, when bad decisions felt more like personality traits. And we talk a lot about sobriety and what it actually takes to change your life. There's some laughs in here, but also some honest conversations about the stuff some people don't like to talk about. Like, why do we drink? What's it costing us? And what happens when you decide to do things differently? So if you ever questioned your habits, your environment, or just where you're heading, I think you'll get something out of this one. Jimmy has many stories from his younger days. He's a genuine guy who went through it all and still came out smiling. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and share the episode. It really does help more than you realise. This is Tomu, the open mic, unfiltered. Let's get fucking into it.
This is cute. Valentine's morning. Me and you spending it here.
Yeah, Valentine's, mate. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'll be out probably, not on today, but yeah.
Probably be a couple of months. But have you got anything planned for your better half today? Or
Well, we don't really fall into these Hallmark holidays and all that malarkey, but we've been together. This will be our third Valentine's, and we do actually get a card. I got her a plant. I don't buy her flowers because I was in Tesco. Other retailers are available. I was in Tesco and it was like massive bouquets of flowers, right? And they were like 30, 40 quid. And I was like, okay, they're really nice, but they're going to die. So I bought her a plant. I bought her a plant and a card.
I think a plant's a good idea. I think that's a better investment. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, she said this morning, she's like, you know what I'm like with plants, I'll just kill them. But I was like, well,
try it.
Maybe with me being a gardener, I might be able to keep it alive a bit longer.
For a bit longer than a week. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was our first Valentine's Day as a married couple, so so we gave cards and that.
Yeah.
But as I say, they've gone out now.
So it's just you on your own.
Just me and my own to do a bit of podcasting. Yeah,
to be here with me, unfortunately or fortunately.
Well, I'm here with you, and then as I say, I've got your mate after this. I've got Ross on afterwards. Yeah.
Tell him I said hello.
On mine. I will do. No, it's just weird that it's because I think we've missed a few dates, and then I missed a few with Ross. So now we've got it locked down. Yeah, he'll be on next. So
that'll be exciting. He's a good guy, actually. He's a really good guy, Ross. So at the moment, you're living in the Isle of Man, right?
Isle of Man, yeah.
How did you get from? 'Cause obviously you're Scottish with the accent. How did you get from Scotland to Isle of Man? What was where did the story begin for you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, I've moved around a lot. I mean, I grew up in Glasgow. Like my folks, my mum and my stepdad moved to Greece when I was about 12. So it was a big uproot and all that, and I absolutely hated it because I just started high school at that time, and I'd done like 6 months meeting all these new people, and just loving my new school. And then at Christmas time, we knew we were going, but I was just like, I don't want to go, thinking it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's moving to Greece when you're 12. Like, who doesn't want to do that? But you speak to any 12-year-old that's just started school and like meeting new friends and whatnot, and then. Do you know what? Like, I did have a good time in Greece, but it was just, I dug my heels in for so long. And then the last 6 months we were only there for 3 years. The last 6 months I really started enjoying it and getting into it. And then we had to move home. And then it was like starting, do you know what I mean? Even though I'd been at that school before, everyone had kind of moved on. And I was like, you know what? So anyway, so that was the start of my kind of moving about. I then we moved back to Glasgow. Then we moved to Aberdeen. Then we moved down to, I stayed in Aberdeen, but then, jobs and whatnot, I moved back to Glasgow. And then my folks had moved down to Cambridgeshire. So they were down there. And I, tail between my legs, kind of, had lost a few jobs, definitely drinking related, but I was still just in my early 20s. So I didn't really kind of blame anything on that at that point. Moved down to Cambridgeshire. And from there, it was like, Isle of Man Manchester for a bit, then Isle of Man for a bit, then back to London. I say back to London, I'd never lived in London, but London for a bit, then up to Yorkshire. And then, and Yorkshire was like York, Leeds, Sheffield. Then I moved to Hull for a bit, and then over to the Isle of Man during COVID, when it all went to shit for me, basically.
So the list is shorter of where you haven't been than where you have been.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I know the UK now like the back of my hands, driven those roads many times. But that was it. It was My life was, they call it in, I don't know if have you done much kind of AA fellowship stuff at all?
I haven't done any AA. No, mine's just been a program, like, as you know, in Denmark, which is completely different to the AA 12 steps. It's just about solo therapy.
Which is great, because I mean the fellowship was great for me, but they've got a term that they use called geographicals, which is basically moving because you think you're going to get a fresh start, a clean slate, but at the end of the day, this is still with you, and if you've not sorted that out, then it's just going to follow you. Yeah, and that was it. So I do that thing, like, unbeknownst to myself, like, oh yeah, I'll go here and it'll be a fresh start and I'll meet new people, and then before I knew it, I was like back on it.
It'd just be a new pub, a fresh
new pub. Yeah, new people that didn't know my drunken antics that were like, but then they'd soon learn.
Is that why you moved so much, do you think, because of that? Was it you made a reputation and then he's like, I need to leave? Or
well, I mean, like I've said this before, I never had any major fallouts with people, so it wasn't like a running away thing. But I think for me, I kind of had that. I liked these fresh starts. I liked meeting new people, and I liked kind of, just getting involved with a new kind of life, I guess, lifestyle, whatever. But it wasn't. Yeah, as I say, it wasn't. I didn't see it as running away. I didn't see it as I'm doing this because I've got a problem with alcohol. Came that realization came much later, because I think, had I known at the time, I think it was just like, right, fresh start, I'm going to do this and I get a new job and everything will be okay. Because I mean, I'm saying I didn't fall out with people, but I definitely fell out with employers. I definitely had breakups with girlfriends and things like that. Yeah. And, I was just like, I need to get out of here. So
do you think consciously or subconsciously though? Yeah, you say you're running, but what do you think it was more like you were running to try and run towards maybe a better position for yourself, a better life, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I think that is the thing. I say I wasn't running, but I probably was, because I was fucking things up and I was messing up jobs, as I say, not friendships as such, but people were moving on in my life. People were getting married and having kids, and I wasn't really down for that at that point. I was like, what are you doing? Because any of the relationships I'd had all kind of ended. So I guess, I was like, right, this is it. I'm going to go here and I'm going to sort my life out, and I'm going to make something good, do something good with my life. And then, but that's the thing. I didn't know that the only thing I had to do was stop drinking and using.
It's simple when you think about it. It's not simple when you're in it. Yeah. No, it is just mad.
And if any time I'd moved and gone, right, I'm going to knock that on the head and then make something with my life, it would have been fine, but I didn't.
And that's the painful truth or reality of it, is that, people, you ask people, how can I change this? How can I change that? And everyone says, well, stop drinking or stop doing the drugs or stop partying. And it's like, well, I don't want to do that. Give me another way I can change my life that's easier, or that's I don't need to take maybe a part of myself away, because and I know for myself anyway, I don't know if it's for you also, but like I felt like that was a part of me. That was who I was. If I didn't have that, then what am I going to do? I don't have any worth apart from being the guy down the pub or being the guy at the party.
Yeah. It was massively my whole identity. That was who I was. Like, if I wasn't doing that, then what else was I doing? Because I didn't have anything else. I hadn't built anything else in my life, Like, I had jobs, but they weren't careers as such. Some of them could have been, but I wasn't like, this is, do you know what I mean? Because I think there's that whole thing when you accept that what you're doing, that's your life. And I found that quite boring. I was like, no, my life is like rock and roll. My life is just kind of partying, and people know me as that. And I'm more fun. I'm more engaging when I'm like that. I wasn't. I was just a drunken fucking buffoon. But
that's mad though, because I had the same feeling. Like, I used to think I was better drunk. People like me more when I'm drunk. I'm more fun when I'm drunk. And then, even though I had so many people tell me afterwards, you're an arsehole when you're drunk, I didn't want to hear that. I just want. I'm amazing. I'm fantastic when I'm drunk. Don't tell me otherwise.
If someone had said that to me, and quite a few people did, but I would just put it down to being that particular night that we'd been out, that I was maybe a bit of an arsehole that night, but the rest of the time I'm fine. I didn't want to hear it, I didn't want to.
Or for that 10 minutes.
What's that?
Well, for that 10 minutes, okay, I was an arsehole for 10 minutes, the whole night I was fine.
There was nights where I would go out and I'd be on top form and I'd maybe have dabbled in a bit of coke or whatever, and I hadn't drank myself into oblivion, and I was like, oh, and I was just perfect that night. Do you know what I mean? And I was always, there was maybe like a handful of nights like that, but I was always trying to chase that. But I had a love of drink, so the drink always won, you know. There was like a few nights where I was like kept it at kind of low carb, and I think I knew that, yeah, I'd had a good night and I'd been on form, and you know, I hadn't pissed anyone else or disappeared off like we were talking before, and like little you know, side quests and stuff. But I didn't. That wasn't my night, like, because my night was when I just didn't care about what I was consuming. I was not watching or monitoring what I was consuming. That seemed like a job to do that. It seemed like hard work.
Yeah,
if I could just go out and drink and not, it was basically like letting go. Do you know what I mean? Just letting go. But if I was in control, I didn't like it. I didn't like being in control.
Yeah,
you know,
no, I can
so
understand that, because I think it was like, I always found as well, you'd get to a point where you could drink so much, and that was like that was where your peak was. That's where you're good, but you can never, as you could say, you can never hold it there or stable that. You just kept going, even though I don't know about yourself, but I would go to the bathroom or the toilet, and then I'd be like, you know, right, Cameron, you're pretty drunk, just slow down now, and yeah, okay, I'll have one more, and then I'll stop, and then you have one more, and then you have the same conversation yourself in the toilet, like, Cameron, you're really pissed, just stop. I'll have one more, and then I'll stop. And then before you know it, you're blackout drunk, and you're in some guy's kitchen at 4 a.m. that you don't even know. It's just,
you don't even know, and you're like, "How did I get here?" And they're like, "We don't know." I mean, I remember,
I don't even know you.
I remember talking about that. There was one night, it was a New Year's Eve, right? Hogmanay in Scotland, and I must have been about 16 or 17, so I wasn't 18. My brother had his mate over, and they were going to go into Glasgow, and they were like, yeah, we'll take Jimmy in to Glasgow with us. They're a few years older than me. Reluctantly, and we were having a nice night in the house, but I was drinking, they were drinking, but I was obviously drinking more than them. And it got to a point where I think my brother was like, to my mum, I was like, I don't want to take him out. He's going to be a liability to us. Like, we've had a few drinks in the house, but we're fine. And my mum was like, yeah, you're not going. And I was like, fuck, I fucked this up. So what did I do? I jumped out my window. Like, I'm up on the, you know, first floor or whatever. So, like, shimmied down the window, jumped out, walked all the way down to the main road, hitchhiked, got in the back of this white Transit with these revelers. And then they were going into Glasgow. Well, they went into just outside Glasgow, like it was about 10-minute walk into the city. Yeah. And we got out the van, and they were going into this like house party, and I was like following them in. They were like, "What are you doing? You're not with us. You've hitchhiked, but you're not coming into the party." So I was like, "Oh, right, okay." So I like made my way into Glasgow for New Year's Eve, and like didn't know anyone, didn't know where anyone is. I don't know, because this was before mobiles and stuff. I think it got to a point like where I don't know whether I met up with my brothers. This is the thing. I was like blackout because I had money on me, but I was just drinking in the bars and stuff.
Yeah.
I need to ask my brother about that, because
where did I go?
I don't remember the end of the night. Like, obviously I got home at some point, whether it was the next day or that evening, but yeah, I think my brother found me in George Square, because that's where we had tickets for.
Square, fuck's sake.
Yeah, but it was one of those things. I was like, I'll show them. Yeah, obviously my mum's like, where the fuck is he gone? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's going on here?
Jimmy's in the back of a white Transit.
He's in the back of a white, like, what the worst things in the world could have happened there?
To say to a parent, Charles just got into the back of a white van.
Got in the back of a white van, heading into Glasgow. He's been found in some like waste ground somewhere. Doesn't even bear thinking about, but yeah, that was. And it wasn't just that. This is the thing with being like obviously grown up now and maturing. Like, I'm thinking, not only was I like just being massively selfish in doing that, like I wasn't caring about what anyone was thinking, what they were worrying about, and what, you know, was going to happen. So. Yeah,
that's what a lot of people say as well. I spoke to guy Marvin recently, and he was saying that as well. You know, when he was doing what he was doing, he's happy now because his mum can get some sleep. You know, she can get some peace again because, you know, you don't know what they're thinking every time you leave that front door.
Absolutely.
Are you going to come back or how are you going to come back? And yeah, we don't. It's really selfish, and we don't really realize the gravitas of like the situation when we're just all we want to do is wreck ourselves.
Yeah,
and then
because we
everyone else
think
has
we're
to pick up the
adults.
pieces.
We think we're adults, so it's like when I was living on my own and still doing stuff, but my mum kind of knew because she'd maybe phone me and, you know, like she knew what was going on, but she was always worrying because even though I was an adult and, you know, on paper, I was still fucking doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Like she, you know, now she sleeps like an absolute log because she's not worrying about me, you know?
Well, that's exactly it as well. Yeah, we think we're adults, but we're drinking. We're still drinking like we're 16. Do you know what I mean? Even when
Yeah.
in our 20s and our 30s, it's like, guess my dad used to say to me as well, like, do you not know when to stop? I do. I just don't listen to it.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Like, I know when I've had enough. I'm just not listening to myself. I just keep going. Yeah.
But that's the thing as well. Like I started drinking when I was 14, and I think my maturity froze at that level. Do you know what I mean? At a 14-year-old, like what is it? The frontal cortex doesn't start fully developing until you're 25, 26. Prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal, something like that.
Me and you,
your brain.
Me and you trying to sound like we're neuroscientists, and we have no idea what we're talking about. Some sort of nerve, I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I'm reading books at the moment, and my girlfriend, she does psychomotor therapy, sort of tells me where I'm going wrong. Yeah, so it's all right for me. I've got an in-house therapist at times, someone to talk to.
Well, my wife is she was a midwife, so you know she knows a lot of medical jargon and stuff like that. So I'm
talk to you just like what?
I'll say something. She'll be like, "Do you mean this?" And I'm like, That's what I said.
Sounds close. That's probably what I meant. Yeah.
So so I don't think I properly matured until I got sober. You know.
Yeah.
I was a man, as I say, on paper. You know, I had a beard and whatnot, but inside I was still doing stupid
things.
Stuff.
Yeah. How did you get to drinking at 14? That's quite young to grab your first drink.
Yeah, so my folks were out of town, and my brother, he's getting a lot of features on today's podcast.
Yeah.
Was, like, as I say, he was a couple of years older than me, so he would have been about 16, nearly 17, and he was just having a few drinks in the house because he'd been to parties and stuff. He was enjoying booze, and he said, "Oh, have you ever had a drink?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, you know, like maybe a sip here and there, but I haven't actually, I haven't got drunk." And he was like, "Right, let's get you a couple of vodkas. Let's change that, yeah." And you know, like, I mean, my brother's never. He likes a drink. I don't know if he drinks that much anymore. You know, he couldn't have seen that this is going to happen, and I don't blame him for giving me that first drink because I totally loved it. And then I think Monday at school, I was like saying to my mates, because there was other groups of kids going out.
You've got to try this.
Yeah, there was other groups of kids going out and getting like Mary Down Cider or MD 2020 at the weekends. And we were a bit kind of, I guess, wet behind the ears. We were like, oh no, we're too young to do that and all that. But as soon as I'd done it, I was like, right, guys, we need to get involved in this.
Change your plan.
Change your plan, yeah. We're like, let's all just sack everything off and do this. And then everything pretty quickly kind of ramped up. I remember we'd gone out. I think this became like, not maybe every weekend, but most weekends we would just go and get like little bottles and get people on the street to go into the local shop for us and all that. And I think me and two of my other mates started smoking at the same time. We were like, right, but we're only going to smoke for like a month. And then it was like, we're only going to smoke till Christmas. Yeah. And then it was like, I'm only going to smoke till my birthday, but we just became smokers. And then I remember two of them came up to me one day. We were talking about getting weed, right? We were talking about having a smoke. And I was like, right, I'm going to meet you guys at the park or whatever. And they were like, we've got a guy in the village that's going to get it for us. So we all chipped in just for like a tenner. And it was, we're talking like in those days, we only smoked, we didn't get green. It was like
hash.
It was like, soap bar, that's what they called it.
Oxo cube, sometimes you'd get it.
Well, Cameron, this is the
Yeah.
thing. So I rocked up to meet them and they'd already done the deal.
Yeah.
And they presented us with this fucking Oxo cube. And I was like, oh, lad.
Sorry to ruin the
Guys,
story.
it's fine, mate. I had no idea what what resin cannabis looked like at that point, but I knew that was a freaking Oxo
I think
cube.
it happened to everyone. It happened to me. It's probably happened to Ross as well. You can ask him when you speak to him. Did you ever get sold an Oxo cube? Yeah, we've all been.
Yeah, and then the thing was, later on down the line, we did it as well.
Yes, I mean, yeah, it's
like a rites of passage.
That's what I was
like
going to
these
say.
kids
Yeah,
that we knew, and they were like, "Can you get some weed?" And we were like, "Yeah, here you
it's
go."
initiation. It's initiation.
Yeah.
It's character building.
Character building.
You'll soon learn.
So the weed actually like became quite prevalent with me because it would be every day at school. We'd either go in the morning and
Is that still 14, 15?
I would say 14, 15, it became, well, I suppose, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
By 16, it was probably like a daily thing.
Yeah, okay.
One of us would have a bit, my thumbs and forefinger were just brown from doing that.
Yeah.
I had a little, do you remember like the old poppies used to have an actual pin?
Yeah.
So I took the leaf off the poppy after poppy day and I would just keep that so that when it got
Pokey.
so small, I could just put the thing on the end of the pin and then burn it. So I had
Genius,
all the
actually.
paraphernalia. And actually, it got to the point where one of my mates was driving and we'd meet up in like registration and form in the morning and he'd be like, "You going to first class?" And I'd be like, "Nah, man, like, can I have the car
You're going
keys?"
to go get stoned.
So I would just go and sit in the car park at the school and just start skinning up for like break time and whatnot.
mental.
And then, so schooling kind of went downhill a bit like that. So
Did
the
you all stand
weekends,
in a group as
were,
well? Pass it around the joint.
yeah, of course. Yeah. Sitting in the car, hotboxing it. Yeah. But I like, you know what? Like, don't get me wrong, man. Like, this is the thing. It was all good times. Like, I wasn't focused on my schooling because I was stoned all the time. So, but I didn't have any ambition. I didn't know what I wanted to be. So I wasn't thinking, well, I need to stick in at school. I had my mum and my stepdad going, "Yeah, you need to do your exams and all that." But I just didn't care, man. I really didn't. The weekends were for drinking. And at this point, we were probably going into Glasgow and going into, we all had fake ID and they didn't really ID people in those days. So we were going into this club called the Rat Trap. And it was like a goth metal bar club and all that. So it was just, that was the weekend. And then through the week was, school, but smoking weed.
Yeah, but we'll get through it. We'll have a joint before we go in.
Through it.
Yeah.
I stayed on at school far too long. Like I should have left when I was 16, but my stepdad was like, no, you're going to go to university and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, do you know what? I should have left school and got an apprenticeship. But that wasn't really an option in our house. I'm not bitter about it now, but I'm just like, you know what? That was the wrong path.
Yeah.
If I'd gone out and started getting an actual skill and doing that, then things might have been different.
Yeah, do you think that might have changed you or like changed your outlook?
Do you know what? Like, it might not have, because if I'd gone out and been like part of a, let's say, I don't know, carpentry or plumbing or
they like a drink.
They'd have all been kind of initiation and drinking, because I had a guy on last year and like he from 16 from being an apprentice was like, drinking with older lads. So because I like to drink, I think I would have found my way to do it either way. But I don't know. It might have taught me a bit more responsibility. I don't know. I'd have probably quit it though, mate. That's the thing.
I got sacked.
Yeah, I did a lot of quitting. So I did college a couple of times. Quit the first one because it wasn't for me, and then I did actually go back to college and I completed that. But
Okay. What did you do at college?
photography.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah, you said you're getting back into it now at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I've taken kind of a bit of a hiatus over the past year because I've been doing the podcast, but yeah, I did. I really did well at college with that, and I think because I was still like, I'd lost my license through drink driving, and because I couldn't drive the forklift in the job that I was doing because we had to cross a highway, and without a license, they were like, we can't employ you. So then, like, my folks were like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I quite fancy going back to college. And they were like, okay. So I found this college course. It was photography. And I really focused everything on it. I was living back at my parents'. Obviously, I wasn't driving. So I was having to deal with lifts a lot of the time because I'd lost that freedom. So my drinking probably did kind of slow down quite a bit when I was in college, and I did kind of really focus on that. But
Yeah.
once I graduated, and then I actually got a job, and so this is a funny little story. If you don't mind the tangent.
No.
I'd finished college and I was working in this like flat panel making factory. And I was like, I mean, the money was all right, but it was a bit of a shitty temp job. And I was working with this old guy, and he'd had about 3 heart attacks. So I was always kind of keeping an eye on him and all that. And we'd go out for a break and we'd have a cigarette, and there would be all the lads from the factory there. And I remember we were all in different shifts. So I was out there just with this one other guy. Can't remember his name. Like he wasn't a good mate or anything. We just knew each other from going out and having a cigarette. And he said to me one day, he said, "Can you roll a joint?" And he was like, "Can you skin up?" And I was like, yeah. I'd given up smoking weed at this point though, because I was like, I'd got paranoid and just thought, I'm not doing that anymore. And I was like, but I still had the skills, you know. So I was like, yeah, I can roll up. So I rolled him this
guy out.
Well, no, this guy was, I think he was in his 20s as well.
All right.
I skinned this up for him, and I did it like a really peach. And he was like, "Oh no." He was like, pack it. And I was like, okay. So I packed it. And then I handed it to him, and he went, no. And he pulled off his hat, and he said, "I've got one." And he goes, "That's for you." And I was like,
"Why are you doing
this?" And I
to
didn't
me?
really plan on, I hadn't smoked in years. And I was like, didn't fancy smoking this whole thing. But
and you
I didn't want to look like a knob. So I sparked it up and smoked it. And then I got massively, not paranoid in the afternoon, I just got massively like introspective and really started thinking, what am I doing with my life? Like, this is not for me. So I went out for a break and took all my stuff with me, just didn't go back, went to my college and said to my lecturer there, I said, "You have to get me a job, because you have to get me a job in photography, because I just can't stand doing this stuff anymore."
Yeah.
And he went, funnily enough, this email came through today from this company in Cambridge. So I just emailed them. So much so that every time I would email this lady, my CV would go kind of to the top of the pile. And eventually she said she goes, "This guy doesn't have the experience that we need, but we need to get him in because he's just not leaving me alone."
He won't leave me alone.
He won't leave me alone. And lo and behold, like they liked me. They knew that I didn't have the experience, but they knew that I could do the job, and I got the job. And actually, I met a few of the guys from the flat panel factory a couple of times down the pub after that, and they went, like, anytime you get a new, but anytime they get a new temp in and they just disappear at lunchtime or whatever, they call it doing a Jimmy.
You're infamous now at the panel place.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, has he done a Jimmy? He's not coming back. He's doing a Jimmy."
Who gave him a joint?
Who gave him a joint? Exactly. Yeah. So then I moved into Cambridge and started working at this. It was like it's called eBags, and they drop shipped like luggage, handbags, rucksacks, any type of bag, and we'd get all the bags in, and I had this whole studio to myself. And I would just take pictures all day long. And do you know what? Like, yeah, it was quite boring, but it was like, this is like, I thought I'd made it. Yeah. I got a little flat in town, was sharing with some people, and they were all like, so I was still living with my folks, getting a bus in, and I was like, right, I'm making good money now. I need to move out and get myself a flat. And I found this webpage where there was loads of different flats for sale, house shares and all that, and not for sale, for rent. And so I went down and met this guy, and he was a Frenchman, and we were sitting, and he was going, I'm kind of in charge of this flat, so I really like you. And he goes, "Do you party?" And I was like, "Yeah, I party." So he went upstairs to his room, came down with his little box of goodies, and racked up a couple of lines. And it was oh, right, here we go.
That kind of party, yeah.
It was that kind of party, and I was like, yeah, okay. So I got that flat and moved in there, and it was good fun, man. It was good fun, Cameron, but it was just carnage. It was just absolute carnage.
And so how long were you in Cambridge for then, doing that? Were you in that apartment the whole time you were in Cambridge, partying? Or?
Yeah, well, I did have a place of my own for a bit, and then that ended in carnage because, I mean, the stories are just endless, mate. So I was out in town with my mate and his sister, who's a mate as well. And I was like, knocking off with this girl, and my mate and his sister were like, "Well, we're going to go back to your flat. Can we get the key?" And I was like, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be long, but they went on ahead, when I got back to the flat, she had put the flat key in the downstairs lock and broken it off in the lock. And I was like, you can tell when a key doesn't work. You don't
Stop
twist
turning
it
it.
till it breaks. So I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, right. And so we managed to get the bit of the key out and then put in the right key for the downstairs. So we got in, but then we couldn't get into my flat. And we were knocking on the door next door. And this was like 1 a.m, man. And I was like, fuck's sake. And I was like trying to see if we could get a drill or something. Anyway, chatting to my neighbour, turn around, my mate's sister has booted the door. Put a massive hole in it with her big Doc Martens. And then I was like, right, well, at least I can get my hand in and open the door now.
At least
we got in.
something.
Yeah, and then we were carrying on the party in the flat, and then about half an hour later, the police came up, and they were like, "What's going on here?" And I had to go and show them like my tenancy agreement and all of that.
You broke in or something.
We've not just booted the door in and moved in. Yes, so that was. I didn't stay long in that flat. I did my 6 months, and then basically they didn't renew it. And then I did live in another weird house share for another 6 months. Didn't like that. And then I moved into this one, which was just exactly what I probably didn't need.
Yeah.
But it was great fun. I still got a lot of mates from that place. So much so that after there was 4 of us in there, including the Frenchman, and then they all moved out, but they were like, well, you can take it over as being guarantor of it. And I was like, all right. And they were like, it's actually quite a good deal. Do you know what I mean? You can set the rents and pay for the bills that way and all that. So it was like, okay. So it was actually like almost like another little income.
Yeah.
Which, looking back, I could have made an absolute fortune off that, but I didn't. I just went,
just partied.
Just partied. It went up my nose and you know, in my belly, and yeah. But it was good. It was a great party place. Like, everybody knew it, and we lived above the Co-op, so no neighbours. We had this huge big terrace to ourselves, and it was
the shop downstairs if you want to get any more beer in the morning.
Absolutely. Well, this is the thing. So my drinking at that point, like, going back to your question, I was in Cambridge for I think 4 years in total. So once I was in that flat, I got into this habit of every night coming home from work, going into the Co-op and buying 3 bottles of wine for a tenner. And like, they wouldn't even go in the fridge. Like, my room was right next to the kitchen, but I would just have them like on my desk. So I'd be sat like I'm sitting out at my desk, just maybe watching something, a movie, I don't know, not doing anything really creative, just drinking. But I knew, so if I had 3 bottles, I was fine the next day. So I'm mid-20s at this point. I was fine. But if I had 4, I was rotten.
If I had 3, I was okay. 4, fucked, mate. Done. I'm done. Anyone on 3 would be done.
I know. 2. It's like,
even 1 big bottle. Some
one
people
big bottle of wine.
On,
I know. It's insane, but I knew that my limits were, if I had 4, then I was useless the next day. But don't get me wrong. I mean, that was pretty much every night. Some nights I'd meet mates after work for a couple of pints, and then I'd go back and then maybe do the same. But I remember, because then the weekends would be, you know, like party time. We'd go out on the town or whatever, and do a bit of naughty stuff.
Yeah.
Sunday would always be a fundy Sunday in the flat, and we'd maybe cook a roast. Cook a roast, and I'd be cooking that and having some wine, and then we'd just sit and chill. And Sunday night would be kind of, you know, in bed by 10. But I'd been drinking most of the day. But I remember thinking to myself, and this little thought would pop into my head. I'd be walking home from work, and I'd be like, you haven't had a day off drinking now and it'd be like a week, and then it'd be like 2 weeks, and it'd be like a month, and then it'd be like, you actually haven't had a day off drinking for like 6 months. And that's what I was, and it was, I was saying these things to myself, but not doing anything about it. Do you know what I mean? Because I was thinking, well, I've got my life's together. I've got my flat. I've got,
not that bad.
Good job. And I didn't know the exact, like, I smoked in those days, and I knew that was bad for me, but I didn't know that alcohol was as bad as it is, you know? I just thought, I'm not harming anyone. I'm a fun drunk, because I was still fun drunk at that point. But what I was doing in my flat of an evening, okay, I was getting drunk, but I wasn't going out and annoying people. Like, we had housemates, but they were all room dwellers. So I just sat in my room and, you know, got 3 bottles Millered myself.
But it's like you said though, like you talk about it a lot on your socials as well. It's because I think it's so accepted or normalized drinking that when you say like, oh, I've been drinking for 6 months, people don't maybe necessarily see it as a problem, because it's like, well, I'm only having a drink. I'm not doing hard drugs. I'm not, you know, I'm just at my house having a drink, and you know, I'm still having Sunday lunch. Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
But what people don't realize, as you said, it's a carcinogen. I didn't know that until I heard you on your socials talk about it being a carcinogen and having all these sort of harmful properties. I knew obviously it wasn't good for your health, but I didn't realize it was so dangerous. You know,
So
especially when
bad.
you said something about, you know, you should only, was it in our podcast?
Yeah.
You said something, if you only drink like a glass of wine or something is your limit, or like your body can handle.
250 mil of wine over a year is the safe limit.
And you're
so it's
having
not
3
like
bottles in a night.
and 3 bottles in a night.
Fuck's sake.
So it's insane. It's
I mean, I'm quite
and
impressed.
but that was like, as I say, that was just me being sophisticated and having a few glasses of wine. That wasn't, the weekend was like, you know, that's when the hard stuff came in, like the vodka and and not we'd end up on canal boats and all sorts of stuff, and that was it. If we didn't, it was like the hangover. If we didn't wake up on a Sunday morning going, "Whoa, where the fuck are we?" then it was a wasted weekend. You know,
It's bad you say that, because I've just prepped my next solo episode to do, and there's a part in that where I talk about, I used to judge my success like within myself or based on how my weekend was. Like, if my weekend was wild, then I had a success. Like, I'm being successful. And and I look back at it now, and it's such a warped way of thinking of my life as being, well, because people like me and I'm the guy about town, or I'm going to all these parties and I'm having all this fun and my life's a success. But really it's going down the fucking drain.
yeah,
I've got no control of it. But it's mental that you've just said that, and that's, you know, how I've also thought about it, because you always think you're in your own little world sometimes, or you're the only one that feels like this. So it's really like, I know, refreshing just to have someone else sort of speak to you about how they were, and you think, oh, okay, well, then I'm not so mental, then it's not just me, I'm not the only one.
Well, that's why the meetings and stuff like AA and NA and all that, when I first got sober, that was what really helped me, was like, there are other absolute wreckheads out there as well. But I knew there was, and I didn't know how. Like, loads of friends that I had around that time in Cambridge, they probably did do it a little bit too much, but they had everything locked down. See, I was doing stupid stuff and I could feel everything kind of slipping away from me because I was losing control. And I was just like, why is this happening to me? Why am I not doing it properly? You know, it was like, I was like not as skilled as other people. And it's a weird thing. Like, there's a few people, and I'm thinking there's definitely some of them that went on and they had kids and stuff and kind of chilled out with it. But there's definitely other ones from that day that I think, well, there's a few that I know definitely have a problem with it, but they haven't sorted it out yet. They're just still out there. And that's the difference, you know. It's not everyone came out of that unscathed, is what I'm saying. You know? But there are a few of them that can still, you know what, like if they have a weekend where the kids are away or whatever, they go out and party like the old days. I don't think they enjoy it as much though, because we're all old now.
I don't think you can when you get a bit older.
Yeah.
First of all, your body in the morning. As you get older, I never did, to be honest. Well, I did, but I just didn't listen again. It's the hangover. It's the fear of the hangover. It's the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in it and you're in it proper, like you say, you're drinking every day, or the same sort of days, the same excess drinking, then your body gets used to it, your mind gets used to it. The days just become one. But when you start sort of, like you say, choosing your weekends out or your nights out, then you start to think, okay, I know how I'm going to feel in the morning and I don't want to feel like that. So most people probably listen to that. People like myself and you, we probably don't listen to that so much, but I'll deal with that in the morning. I mean, I remember sometimes, waking in the morning and puking or being sick, and, and then I'm sort of looking in the bowl and I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, this is killing myself. Do you know what I mean? My body's telling me, Cameron, like, this isn't good for you, but I'm just not listening to it. And then, this might go out the same day. I puked in the morning, felt like shit, had a brekkie, and then I'm back down the pub.
Yeah.
I'll drink through it.
My favourite thing was in Cambridge, like if it was a beautiful sunny day in the summer, and I would go out and I would get people, or and I would be like, right, we're going to meet such and such a place for lovely breakfast, you know, full English or whatever.
Yeah.
But they would sell alcohol, so we could either have a Bloody Mary or a mimosa, or a, what's the other
Bloody
one?
Mary used to sort me out.
Yeah, but to me that was like, we're being sophisticated, we're high society.
It's a fancy tea drink.
Yeah, whereas on the way to this like breakfast place, restaurant, whatever, I've seen the Jakeys down at the bottom of the roundabout with their white lightning. Do you know what I mean? I'm no different from them, but because I'm going somewhere that's fancy, it's like I think I'm different. I'm basically
because you're sitting in a cafe.
Because I'm sitting in a cafe, but they're just getting on it as well. Do you know what I mean? But that was it.
They're
that
probably
would be
smart.
Yeah, but they're not paying as much, you know. But I would be like, that would be it. You know, once I'd got that taste for it in the morning, that would then be a day session.
Oh yeah,
you know.
As soon as the sun was the one as well for me. I don't know. I think a lot of people can relate, even if you drink a lot or you don't drink a lot. Especially in the summer, as soon as that first bit of sun comes out, and it's a Saturday and it's fresh, and you're like, do you know what? Let's just go down the pub, or let's go for a brekkie, have a drink, and then just see where the day goes. I remember when I lived in Glasgow, I found this, I can't remember what the pub was called, and you could buy a pint of Tennent's if you ordered a breakfast. So I used to be like, you know, if I'd had a big night out or something, I wanted another beer, because they stopped selling beers in the shops till like a certain time now, don't they, to stop the excess drinking. So I found this place, I don't know how I found it, but I found it. I think it was by the Tron Gate or something.
Yeah.
And I went down there, and there's a little cafe on the corner. Yeah, and I used to go in there and just get a breakfast so I could have the pint. Sit there and have a pint at like 8 a.m. What are you doing, Cameron?
But
I don't even want the breakfast. I just want the pint.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing with Wetherspoons. So when I was living in Leeds, and I'd always known about Wetherspoons and stuff, but then I started kind of really utilising the fact that you could go in there at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. and get a pint. And the point is, there's no judgment in there.
That's the thing as well. Yeah, everyone's doing it.
You go into a Wetherspoons at that time in the morning. Yeah, you've got a couple of guys having a breakfast with a coffee, but the majority of people in there are having pints and chasers and all sorts of stuff. You're with your people. I'm with my people. And do you know what? Like, I would just go in and I would sit down and just crack up chat with people. Do you know what I mean? It was like,
that's the thing.
That was like my little safe zone. If I could when I lived in cities and stuff, once I was in a pub, I felt safe. Do you know what I mean? Like, the world and the madness was out of my, you know, it didn't matter anymore, because I was in there, and this was a good place. I wasn't caring about what time I was leaving or when I was going home or whatever. But once I was in a pub, didn't matter where it was.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter who I was with or if I was just on my own. Like, a lot of times I would just go in on my own. I didn't care. And I you know, especially when you could smoke in pubs. God,
you fucking leave.
I was just like in my element, you know. But yeah, I totally agree with the hot summer days. That's the worst. We find it Motivate, the addiction charity I work for. A lot of the people that come to the meetings, they kind of drop off in the summer because people have gone back out, and they're just
just something about it, isn't it? It's just that sun, and then it's just cold beer, and I think about it now, and that's when I spoke to you about it, your podcast. When you think about it, you think, do you miss it, or are you do you regret getting sober? It's like, I don't regret the getting sober part. It's the and I think you spoke about it quite well afterwards. I think you know, you were saying that it's the social aspect, it's the way of life that it was for me, and you know, as me and Ross spoke about in our episode, it's, you had fun, you know, you had a good time with your mates and stuff, but it's when the good times become less, or, you know, they're no longer there, that's when you have to sort of have a look at yourself. And so I look back at it, I'm like, I really enjoyed those parts. I really enjoyed that time. But that's what it is now. It's a memory. Do you know what I mean? I can't live that way. I can't go back to that way, because I don't have the makeup like other people do, where they can go and have a drink and go home. Like, I ruin my life. I ruin other people's lives because of my own excess of drinking.
Yeah. But we can spend a lot of time being nostalgic about
that's it.
Anything. Do you know what I mean? We can, and that's the problem. Nostalgia is dangerous, because if our lives are feeling a little bit, you know, depressed or whatever, nostalgia comes on and we're like, oh my God, remember the good old times. And it's like, do you know what? When you were in it, you weren't thinking this is the best time of my life, because you were just doing it.
Yeah.
But, you know, with me, with the alcohol, there were some really good times, but the bad times definitely outweighed the good times by the end. But like with
Yeah.
nostalgia, you can do it with anything. You know, you can go, oh, when I was out riding my bike when I was a kid, I'd love to go back and do that. Like you wouldn't want to go back out riding your bike with kids again, because that's a different
you'd
part
look
of
a
your
bit
life.
weird cycling around with
Yeah,
kids.
he's like, who's coming out for a jolly on the bike? You know what I
Jimmy
mean?
comes
Like,
down his
what?
BMX. Who wants to come down the park with me?
Yeah, like that's it. So the way I see it is there's a time and place for different parts of your life, and I think for me, like I'm happy. I've got a different lifestyle now, and I love it. And I think that nostalgia can do that danger thing for people that even aren't problematic drinkers. They can get themselves into this situation where they're constantly chasing what they used to have. Like the times that they're going out now, yeah, the hangovers are worse. Everyone around them's a lot younger, because they're like, they're an old fucker in the pub, and it's like, well, why are you need to find something new, because obviously you're now ruining what that nostalgia was. Use that nostalgia, like go, yeah, I had some good times, but now I'm doing something different. If you're constantly chasing what that nostalgia is telling you was good, you're never going to get it. You're never going to get it, because nostalgia is nostalgia because it's in the past, you know?
And like you said there, because you're living it, you're not thinking about it. I mean, that's what makes it perfect, or makes it those nostalgic moments. And I think being in the pub, I can understand that feeling safe. I felt the same when I moved to Denmark for the first time. Like, I didn't really know where to put myself, but my first thought was, I'm going to go down the pub. I feel more at home down the pub. And they had this British pub there as well, so that was just, I'll go there. The British pub, they got pie and mash and full breakfast, and I'll just sit in that pub. I've come from the UK to Denmark, and I'm sitting in a British pub. I was like, what are you doing? But I didn't know where else to do, where else to put myself. And at the time, I was trying to find a job, and that was it. Yeah, ruining. Lily would come home, my girlfriend, and it'll be half cut. She said, "What have you been doing all day?"
And is she
having a drink?
Is she from Denmark? Is she Danish?
Yeah, she's Danish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I met
that's
her
the
in
thing.
Thailand.
Oh yeah. But the
Yeah.
thing is, like, you see, and I will have been guilty of this in parts of my life. Like when you go to like Benidorm, or we went to Fuengirola in Spain, and it's like Costa del Sol, and you end up going into like the Black Bull.
Tenerife, and
Like, why is there a Black Bull in Spain? Surely it should be called, I don't know,
whatever it is
like
in black. I know.
Noir.
Be careful. Yeah, I think that word, the black in Spanish is
yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, why do I should have been going and getting involved in the Spanish culture and doing all these Spanish things and having tapas and paella and all these things, but we don't
bravas, whatever it's called.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm much better at that, and even in my 20s, I was much better at not going in the Black Bull. But why do we do that? And it's like we should be embracing their culture.
Yeah, I've never understood it. Never understood that. I mean, whenever I go away, I try and do as many things in that sort of culture, or from that area. But I've got friends just in May gone. I was in Sorrento for a wedding, in Italy, and every time I rang my friends or text my friends, because a big group of us went over there to celebrate it or for the ceremony, and I'd text my mate and I'd go, "Where are you?" "Oh, I'm down at the English pub." Can't remember what it was called. And I was like, okay. And text them the next day, "Where are you now?" I'm at the English pub. And there's about 70 pubs along that strip. Like, can we go to one that's not the British pub? But I think it's just, I don't know, it's familiarity.
People love
Guinness.
that. Yeah, well, people love that kind of comforting, and it's like, but you can get that at home. And the thing is, I was listening to this podcast about, I think it was about it was a true crime thing, and it was about this guy in Liverpool, and they'd spotted him down there, because there's a lot of expats and people that can't, because I don't think there's an extradition back to the UK, so there's a lot of crims down there. But they were saying that, I think it was Benidorm as well, the whole national identity of that city and that place is ruined because of the expat Brits going over there. And like, the Spanish work there, but they're mostly like, they're not running the pubs. They're not like, they're mostly doing like the cleaning jobs and all these things. So that whole city is just like this expat British centre, and
British
all the
territory.
British territory. And you've got all these like, expat crims going over there and doing that, doing a bit of wheeling dealing and dodgy stuff. And it's like, Benidorm's just completely wrecked now. It's horrible.
They had the TV series Benidorm as well. That was
That
was classic. Yeah. Is Benidorm close to Gibraltar?
It's on the south coast, so it's on the way, I think. Yeah.
Because Gibraltar, that's a funny one as well. What's that? Just a rock, basically, that
Just a
the
rock.
British just don't want to give away.
don't want to give away because it's got a prime location for it's like that rock on the edge of the Med. What do you call it? The Strait of Gibraltar. So it's like anything coming in and out of the Med can be basically. It's a great military position.
Yeah. No, I understand.
So they don't want to give it up for that. But we went to Gibraltar, and I was a smoker in those days, so it was like you get a pack of fags for 50p, and I was like, what?
Fucking
I think
hell.
It was still like £3 in the UK, and I was like 50p for a pack of fags. So
I'm moving here.
Yeah.
Gibraltar.
Absolutely. Yeah, mad place.
Just want to take you back to the was it the AA? Because I've obviously had no had no experience with the AA. Would you say was that like influential in your sobriety? Did that take like was that pivotal, like a main focus of your sobriety, the AA meetings?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did AA, but then NA was more my home group.
What's NA? Sorry,
Narcotics Anonymous.
Narcotics. Okay, yeah.
As much as drugs were never a major issue with me, they were like, no, alcohol's a drug anyway, so you're more than welcome here. Whereas AA, if you've got a drug problem, they're like, no, we just deal with alcohol here.
Right. Okay,
so I was kind of like, and our AA group here, it was good, but it wasn't my tribe. The NA lot were like, yeah,
we get you.
We get you. And there was only a few of us that started it. When I started there was only a few in there, and then it grew and grew and grew. So I went there like kind of militantly for definitely a year, maybe 2 years, and I did everything that it was asked of me, did everything that was suggested. I was doing the service, which was either just reading the kind of not the minutes, but the preamble before the meeting. I would love doing that, and I just embraced everything about it. I was reading the big book, and just we started going out on hikes with our little group.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was during COVID time as well, so it was all very weird. And then towards the end of that, I mean, I learned so much from there. I did all my 12 steps, and that was my main focus for those first 2 years. Like I was starting my own business, doing gardening and all that, and I'd moved into a new kind of little cottage and all that. And all the time I was rebuilding relationships, but that was my main focus. Like I wasn't trying to go out and socialize out of that group or anything. I started to, but that wasn't my main thing. This was where because I knew that if I slipped from that, it was kind of end game for me. But then I started getting more comfortable with it, and more kind of like, I was like, all right, you know what? I've done a year, done 18 months, nearly done 2 years. And then we went back into like a little mini lockdown, and we took the group out into the park, and we did like a couple of meetings outside. And then I was like, what if this keeps happening? Like there's this whole thing in the fellowship saying, if you can't get to a meeting, you're going to relapse. And I was like, I don't quite believe that, but I don't want to be in that situation. Like what if our meeting has to close down and we can't get a meeting? I was like, so I just kind of started slowly pulling myself back from it. Like I knew it was there if I needed it, so I'd maybe not. I was going 3 times a week at that point, and then I would go to 1, and then I just kind of stopped going. And like I'm still good mates with a lot of the guys, and I see them a lot because they all mostly work at Motivate, where I do a little day every now and then. But I just thought I called it like moving on to phase 2 of my sobriety. So I'd done that, and I'd got that locked in. And then I was like, right, now I need to start. And then that was when I started like, doing other things, socializing, going on a few dates and things, which were rubbish. and then, as I say, I met Jen just before my 3rd year of sobriety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were the dates tough because you were sober and you're still trying to figure out yourself a little bit, or you didn't know how to?
No, they weren't. I wasn't right. It wasn't the right time for me. They weren't the right fit for me. I wasn't feeling it. And the thing was, Cameron, I've been in relationships in the past where, maybe I thought I loved them or whatever, but after a while I was like, and I didn't want to make that mistake again. I didn't want to get into a relationship and then go, this isn't right for me, but I don't know how to get out of it. Do you know what I mean? And then
I get that.
Be stuck in it. And so, but then when I met Jen, it was just like, wow, this, I can see this going somewhere. And then it did, obviously. So
how did you meet Jen? Was it in Isle of Man?
Isle of Man, yeah. I'd taken myself off of like Tinder and Bumble or whatever the other ones are, you know, and I was just like, I'm done with that. And I was like, you know what? I'd kind of, I'd done a lot of soul searching and I was living in the cottage and I had my 2 cats. And I was like, do you know what? Like, if I don't meet anyone, I'm actually okay with that now. Like, I used to always think that I needed to fill that part of my life with a relationship. So I'd go and I'd get into different relationships through years. But I'd made kind of peace with myself. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually quite happy. I've got my friends, I've got my work, and I've got all this other stuff going on in my life. Like, I don't need to fill that gap with someone. And I thought, I'm going to come off all the dating sites because that's just me, like, kind of constantly looking for it. And I thought, if it happens naturally, organically, then so be it.
All for it, yeah.
And I was, and I did a lot of these like photography markets where I was selling my wares at markets and things. I just walked into them one day with all my stuff, and this girl was like, "Hello," and we'd met before, but I couldn't quite place where we'd met before.
Yeah.
And so she'd been going through like a kind of, you know, marriage breakdown and all that kind of stuff. So when we'd met before, we weren't really on each other's radars. And she'll hate me for saying this, but actually she'd seen, because I'd done this like charity walk around the island. And I was doing this exhibition, and she'd actually been at my exhibition because there was other things going on that night. So she'd spied me like a couple of weeks before this meeting. So she knew who I was, and that's why she was like, "Oh, hiya," and I was like, "Oh, hello," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't say it quite like that," but I was like, "Who the fuck is that?" Like, I need to find out more about this lady.
Yeah.
And so we had a little bit of a chat that day, but I was still like, proper nervous, do you know what I mean? Because I've not really done any sober dating or whatever. So I got my mate to get the lowdown on her and say like, what's the situation?
Is she all right? Is she good?
She said to me, we were in the market and she was over the other side of the market, and she said, I texted her and I said, listen, there's this lady here. You were asking me about how's my love life. And I said, but there's a lady here that I'm really quite interested in, see if you can find out some info. And she said, let me know when she comes in the room, like when she walks in, just go caca caca. I was like,
it's not obvious.
I was like, I'll do something a little bit more kind of subtle than that. So I texted her and I said, that's her there, like whatever she was wearing. Within like 10 minutes she sent me back this like big long list of like who she is, what she does, and all that. Like, it was like she was my wing woman. Perfect. So anyway, and in that was the Facebook link. So I was hoping for her to come over to my table. And in fact, we were talking about this last night. I was like hoping for her to come over to my table so I could like, do a little bit of the market stall chat and all that. But she never did. We was catching her eye, but she just never came over. So I was like, right, well, I don't know how I'm going to see her again or whatever. So I thought I'm going to text her on Facebook. And and the rest is history, mate. Yeah.
There you go. Happy days. Did she give you a reason why she didn't come over? Was she testing you?
I think it was just more, she was busy, but also I think there was probably a bit of shyness there as well. Yeah.
How long has that been now? 3 years? 2 years?
3. So it'll be 3 years in August. Yeah.
And
so not actually that long, mate. I mean, we went out on our first date on the 1st of August. The following August 1st, we proposed to her, and then the following August, we got married on the 1st of August. So it was kind of 1st of August all the way.
Yeah, 1st of August all the way. 3 milestones every year.
3 milestones, yeah. So this year we'll be married a year.
Yeah.
And we're like, really? Have we only been together like 2.5 years? Like that's insane because, we live together, we're married. She's got 3 kids, and my amazing stepkids now, and it's like it's just madness. But all that's happened in such a short space of time. But when you know it, you know it.
Yeah. But it's also just it's mad to know that your life can change in such a short amount of time. Do you know what I mean? Like 1 minute you think, you're not into this, and you're not really that bothered, and you're quite happy on your own. You got your cats and you got your cottage, and one moment can happen in your life and it just turns it all sort of upside down, but for the better. Do you know what I mean? Now you've got your partner, and you said your 3 amazing stepkids, and you got your place together, and you probably look at your life now and think, how the fuck did I end up here? Do you know what I mean? Everything I've been through, and I'm here now. Do you know what I mean? I've come through it all. It's quite it's amazing.
Well, it's also mad to think, like, because obviously when we first went out on our date, And I kind of explained to her, about my situation with boozing and all that. And she's not a big drinker either. So she's like, she wasn't really fazed by it. But then I think as the years have gone on, well, quite early on, like I did Sober Dave's podcast, and she obviously listened to that, and she was like, wow, like I didn't realize like your full story was so chaotic and crazy. It's mad to think now that once we get to August or whatever, we'll have been together the same amount of time that I was sober for before we met, if that makes sense. So I was sober for 3 years, then we met, and now it'll be 6 years. So we'll have known each. So she'll have known me just as much sober time as she didn't know me sober time. And then it'll be more.
So she's kind of known you as much as you've known yourself since getting sober.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's madness, and that's how quickly this sobriety just kind of clocks up. Because what are you now, 16 months sober?
November, December, January. 16 months. Yeah.
You see, man, I know these numbers,
these dates.
I'm a day counter, but it's mad. It's mad. And then
16 months.
Which is also mad because we've got the same freaking birthday, haven't we, mate?
I know. when you came back to her, you said something. And I was like, I don't think he gets it.
No, I didn't, because you said what a coincidence, but I thought you were meaning it was a coincidence that I had 2,000 days sober on my birthday, and I was like, yeah, man, mad coincidence. And you're like, he's not, he's not, he's an old fucker. He doesn't. I was like,
happy birthday to me too, Jimmy. Nice one.
Yeah. Because then the next day it came up and it said, oh, you've missed Cameron's birthday on Facebook. And I was like, shit. Yeah.
That's what he meant.
So what year were you born?
91.
91.
Yeah, 91, 35.
So I'm 80. Not 80. I'm not 80 years old. I was born in 80.
I'm 80.
I'm 80. This is how good you can look at 80 if you stop drinking.
Yeah. Married at 79, finally. Yeah. What was it? But I was going to ask you that actually, because I'm 16 months into my sobriety and I'm much happier. Like, don't get me wrong. I say things in the sense when people ask me questions about my sobriety, and maybe I hesitate a little bit, but I think that's because I'm still trying to figure out what the right answer is for me necessarily. But I'd always say that I'm happier without the drink, and my relationships are much stronger, and I'm more active now. Like, I'm back at the gym and stuff, and I'm starting to get back into looking at getting back into my boxing and my football. And, I want to do things now again. Whereas before I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to drink and smoke and take drugs and party. But is there a point, when did you find it for yourself that it just became easier? Because right now I still have days where I struggle, where I feel like, am I really happy? Do you know what I mean? Or is this right? And could I go back to having a drink? And, all those sort of doubts and questions, but deep down where you are right now is where you need to be and should be. Did you have that sort of conflict, and how long was it?
Yeah, I mean, 2 seconds. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Do you leave the oven on? Never seen someone get up so fucking quick.
This is the door.
I see you pondering and falling, and I was like, shit, I'll be sorry, mate. Well, I was like, what the fuck?
Your question is too hard for me, mate. Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'm for. I was like, do you need a moment?
What do you use to edit?
The script.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. What do you use?
I used Premiere Pro, and I had Premiere Pro everything. I had Audition,
Okay.
Photoshop, and I was paying like 30 quid a month. And then in January they said, we're putting your bill up to like £70 a month. I was like,
Yeah, that's what they do. The bastards. It's fucking a nightmare.
I still use Premiere Pro, but I got rid of Photoshop and Audition because I wasn't using Audition. So
the script I think's about that 30 something, 20 quid a month.
Yeah.
It's not expensive.
Well, I know Premiere Pro. I know where I'm at with it. So if I put it up again, I'll probably find something else.
Is that through the photography you do that?
Yeah. So, I did film studies at uni as well. So I
Okay.
was kind of using Final Cut, and then Premiere Pro seemed to be the one that everyone started using after that. Don't know if you can still get Final Cut.
Yeah, I think some people do.
Yeah. So all I can say is, man, it definitely gets easier. Like, I did have like times up in the cottage when I was just like, what am I gonna? There was always those thoughts about like, I could go and have a drink tonight, no one's going to stop me. The first night I moved into the cottage, I was definitely like that. And I was like, but then I played the tape forward, which is a smart tool.
Yes,
It's like, where am I going to end up if I go out and have a drink tonight? And for what? Like, what am I hankering after for this drink? My life is so much better now. And I just kind of held on to that for like those 2 years that I was doing the meetings and all that. But then I was like, yeah, don't get me wrong. There's still anxious times when I go to like events and things like that, and I'm like, right, well, but I get out of that earlier on in the night or whatever. And I guess because I'm 46 now, do you know what I mean? I'm not really bothering about going to clubs and things like that anymore. I'm not. That's not part of my life. But
no, of course,
it definitely over the years it definitely gets easier. Like, I used to be one day at a time and never say never and all of that. But like, I can guarantee you now, mate, like, even if something massively traumatic in my life happens, I'm not gonna disrespect everyone and anyone else in my life by going out and having a drink. Because what's it going to prove? What's it going to do? And myself, what's it like? Drinking is not going to bring me anything good at all. I know that. Like, someone asked me, this is early days, and they were like, what, like, are you never gonna have a drink again? And I was like, well,
my friend asked me the other day as well.
Yeah, and I was like, if I was to go out tonight and have a couple of beers, like, I could probably like really control it and go, yeah, I'm just gonna have a couple, because I'd probably be leathered on a couple now. I've not drank in 5.5 years. It'd be like being a teenager again. But I said to myself, like, if there's a 0.1% chance that I would be back to where I was within a week, why would I want to take that chance just for a couple of years? And I said, the chances of me being back to where I was within a week is like 99% chance.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. That part of AA and the fellowship is true. If you were an addict, then it doesn't ever go away. Your body's still locked into that thing. And if I go out tonight and have a few beers, I would be back on a bottle of vodka within a few days. And that would kill me because my body's not used to it. But my brain would be telling me, no, this is what you need. This is what we used to do.
This is good.
And it'd be all bets were off, because as soon as I had that little drink, that part of my brain where the responsibility and all, that's why I hate on the bottles it says drink responsibly, because like, whenever I had a drink, responsibility went out the window.
It's like the worst advertisement ever for alcohol.
It's like, don't drink responsibly. Like, well, now we've done our bit. That's on you now. If you can't do it responsibly, it's not our fault. But so like, I would start like lying to my wife and the kids. I'd be hiding it. I'd be doing all that, and I'd get found out, and then I would be like, well, you don't know me, and I'd start getting belligerent and all of that stuff. And I can just, as long as I can see that stuff, I don't want to take that path.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it sort of keeps you where you are, keeps me
where I am. But also, I don't want to drink, because I don't want to be. It is a mind altering substance, and it changes your personality. And I know for a fact that I don't want to be that person anymore.
It is true. It does change. I mean, people used to say my face changed as well when I got to a certain level of drunk. That I look different, not just act different as well. You look different, and I think mentally as well. I don't know. You've been, you said 5 years or so now sober. Do you find your mental strength or like fortitude is much better? Like with how you think and how you feel and talk to yourself, and do you find you're a lot more stronger within who you are?
Without a doubt. And as I say, that did take time. You know, it was a constant. It wasn't like one day I was suddenly strong. I was getting stronger the whole time. You know, from like for after the first 100 days to then 6 months and then a year, I was like constantly building up resilience against like social events or things I would see online, or even just, you know, Christmas time when it's booze everywhere. Yeah, those first couple of years are pretty tough. But once you've got like a full, and you'll have it been over a year now, once you've got like birthdays and Christmas and then like beer gardens in the summer, once you've got like a full set of them, you're going to get them again, but you're going to build on them and you're going to go, oh yeah, do you know what? Like I did that thing for my birthday, but I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to do something different, you know?
No, I do. I find that with even at the moment now, when I go to family events or barbecues or Christmases now, the last one, and I don't even think about drinking or that I'm not going to be drinking. Like the first ones I'd done, I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this drink, like not having a drink. And now it's like, oh, Christmas just gone. I wasn't even that bothered that I wasn't having a drink. It was just, it was a mad sort of feeling, but it was also a very, it was a small sort of victory for myself in my mind. So I'm not even that asked. Like before, I'd really be like clucking to just have a drink or to take this edge away. But I feel pretty calm in myself where I am.
And have to take yourself out of that situation because you're thinking, if I stay here, I might be even more tempted. But now I leave those situations, not because I'm ever tempted or triggered. It's more because I'm done. Do you know what I mean? Like people are getting a bit more drunk and lady and all that. And I'm like, conversation's not as kind of meaningful as it was at the beginning of the night. So I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to go.
And it's the fresh start in the morning that's like the reward as well. You wake up in the morning, you think, oh, do you know what? This beats having the drink last night. I mean, I can actually enjoy my day now.
Absolutely.
Whereas before I'd be out for a week, you know, it'd be devastating anxiety or alkanoia, beer fear, whatever you want to call it. You just...
Alkanoia, I've not heard that one. I like it. Yeah, alkanoia. Yeah. I was like, I mean, I didn't drink stuff for the first year because at rehab, they'd kind of warned us against that. They were like, don't start using them as a crutch and things like that because it's you're not because like I don't you and me, we drank to get wasted. We didn't drink for the flavor. So I didn't drink them for the first year, and then I would have a few, and again, a zero is amazing. Like I do love that. But actually now I'm just like, nah, I don't touch any of them now.
Yeah, I'm very rarely. Like them. I just quite happy with water or a Coke or something.
Yeah. Like I got a
Yeah. A Soda Stream. Okay,
Soda Stream for my birthday. So I love like fizzy water with some like juice in it, some cordial in it. So that's
a lot cheaper.
My thing now, man.
Jimmy. What's Jimmy doing these days? He's sitting at home doing a podcast and drinking Soda Stream.
Drinking Soda Stream. I love it, mate.
No more 3 bottles of wine. He's got 3 bottles of Soda Stream up there now. He's having a party.
Yeah, well, this is it. And people say, like, when you're getting sober, like, find yourself a really nice glass. And actually, I'm hankering after. I don't know if you watch Traitors. Do you watch Traitors?
No, I've heard so much about it though from my mates back home. Yeah.
So they have these like really nice glass goblets that they all have water out when they're doing the round table, and I'm like, I need to get me one of them.
My girlfriend bought me one of those Viking horns.
Nice.
When I was drinking like mead out of it, thinking I was watching Vikings and drinking mead out of a fucking cut horn.
Mead.
Yeah.
It's such a dirty drink.
Yeah. I look back and I was like, fucking watching Vikings as well. And Cameron was
sitting with your broadsword.
Yeah. Well, I had my like fucking goat skin and lamb skin stuff around me, just thinking I was, there in where do they call it? I can't remember. It's something God, isn't it? Yeah, but I was sitting there again. Yeah, I think it might be Asgard. No, that's the mystical place, isn't
Asgard's
it?
like the Valhalla, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is it called?
I can't remember. Kattegat, no.
Kattegat.
Yeah.
Kattegat,
that's what I was like, sitting there getting fucking drunk on my own watching Vikings. It's fuck's sake.
I love Vikings, man. It's a great show. It's a great show.
But just before you go, because obviously I know you're busy with Ross, I also like to give the chance for the guests to give a message to anyone listening if they're going through their sobriety or if they're thinking about starting sobriety, you know, obviously you'd recommend it, and what's good's it done for you, and why should people stick to it or get onto it?
I mean, all I would say is find your tribe, and whether that's online, you know, an Instagram community, Facebook community, you know, if it's an actual physical meeting, whether it be SMART, AA, NACA, there's loads of different ones out there. But I think it's finding people that have been there before you or going through it at the same time with you, and that you're not alone. Do you know what I mean? Because that was the thing with me. As much as I knew there was other mad pissheads around, I honestly thought I was the only one that was going through what I was going through, and that's absolute bullshit. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that unique, or, you know,
just another drunk.
just another drunk. Yeah. And once I realized that, and I was hearing all the stories and listening for the similarities that other people had done the same old shit as I'd done, like hiding bottles behind the stem of the sink and in the cistern and all these things.
Behind all the old pots and pans in the bottom cupboard. Yeah.
In the bran flakes, because you knew the kids wouldn't touch the bran flakes. It's like, fucking hell. But yeah, I think that's the main thing. Like, and when I got sober, I was like, I'm going to do everything and anything to keep this, because I knew I could get sober, but I didn't know how to maintain it. And I went to all the meetings. I did 100 meetings in 100 days. I was doing stuff online. I was listening to podcasts. I was watching stuff on YouTube. I was educating myself, and I was reading the Quit Lit and just talking to people. And that's, talking. You know, I say, because a lot of people would be like, oh, I go to AA, you shouldn't go to SMART. And I'm like, fuck that. I was doing them all. Like, I didn't care. And I was picking bits out of each different group that was utilising, that I could utilise. And I say it's like throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what stick. Because some stuff's not good for everyone. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work for some people, but it doesn't mean that you can't then go to another meeting or another ethos on recovery and take a bit from that and use it for yourself. Because I think AA and the fellowship can be very narrow-minded. It's like, if you don't do our way, then you're not going to stay sober. And that's bullshit, because some people just stop drinking and they never touch it again, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have any help, any external help, but they're fine. But it doesn't work for everyone, you know?
No. It's good to have a community. It's good to have people you can talk to, and it's good to also just have a sort of metrics or goals to sort of measure yourself on and how far you're progressing. And I think also getting a little coupon's pretty cool as well.
Yeah. In fact, I was looking for mine the other day. It was on our house keys, and we got a new door, and I found it out on the door out in the garden. I was like, oh, it's going to get chucked. Out in my car, I've got my little 3-year trip. I need to get a new one, because I'm obviously way past 3 years now. But it's those little things that are like, you know, they have a lot of meaning for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, appreciate you coming on, Jimmy, and hopefully we'll talk again at some point in the future. Give you an update where I am. You can give me an update what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, if we don't speak before, but we'll speak on our birthday every year and go, right, I know your birthday now.
Yeah, we'll give each other at least a happy birthday. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Mate, we'll definitely catch up soon. Thank you so much for having me on, mate. It's been different. I've enjoyed it. It's been good.
I really enjoyed that, man. Honestly, it was it was good to hear the stories and to have a good laugh about it, and just like say to be amongst someone that shares the sort of same sort of carnage, chaos, debauchery that, you know, I've sort of been involved in as well. So it's good. It's a bit of a therapy in this as well, I find.
Absolutely, mate. And now I'm going to go and get a little bit of lowdown on your old antics from Ross.
Yeah, hopefully Ross might. Yeah, what was he doing? Yeah, he was partying with me when I had this sort of underground. It's like a granny flat underneath my main house, and he used to come around there, and we used to have it was huge parties.
Yeah,
huge parties in such a small space. I don't know how I got so many people in there, but we did. He might tell you about that. Yeah, I've got some really bad photos of him, but I don't know where they've gone. Yeah, my old Facebook got wiped out because of those parties. People used to go on and put like three old men having threesomes as my profile picture and stuff like that. Facebook ended up taking me off. So
not surprisingly,
and they were just texting everyone, and then you know how it goes. So I got booted off Facebook. I had to wait till I can come back again. I had to beg them to let me back on.
Jesus, yeah.
But that's been a pleasure, Jimmy, and take care of yourself,
man. Thanks, mate. Thanks again, man, and I'll chat to you soon.
Yeah, no worries, Jimmy. Speak to you in a bit.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.